or mute. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are, today is, what is today? May 13th? Yes. Sorry. The days all run together now with COVID. Yeah. Wednesday, May 13th, and it is 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are on week number 3 of Transform Yourself to be your best you. And tonight we are going to focus on high performance habits. And yeah, I forgot to grab something. Oh well.
May I interject before we go further?
Sure.
I would love for you, Jenny and Wendy and Jenny to just introduce yourselves and just
we will
let us know your background so that we know where we're, because I know that you guys are, specialists in this. So I'd really love to know more, a little bit about your background. So if you don't mind, whomever wants to go first.
Okay. Jenny, why don't you go first? Because I need to grab something that I thought I had.
Okay, cool. So my name is Jenny Karls, as you might know, and I'm from Brisbane, Australia. And I'm a NLP life coach and a hypnotherapist, and I'm also a nurse by profession. And I help people to empower themselves, really step into their purpose and getting unstuck in life and really moving forward and really stepping into their, best self to actually tap into their full potential to move forward in life. And yeah, so that's me. I've got 2 little kids, 2 and 4. Bella's here talking in the background, as you might hear her. And yeah, so that's me. So Wendy.
And I'm Wendy Mush, and I am a transformation coach, personal empowerment coach, and I've kind of been through the ringer in my life in a lot of different ways. I can't say that, I've had the worst life. I shouldn't say that. I'm very grateful for everything that I've gone through, and I've learned a lot from everything. But my goal is to help people not have to go through some of the things that I went through, and to help them find their purpose and find their path to happiness and to fulfillment in whatever shape that takes for them. So I think without further ado, before we actually do anything else, I would like for everyone to tell us, you can say your first name and where you're from if you want, you don't have to, but I would like for everyone to tell us one thing that they are grateful for. So Charles, you are up in my left-hand corner, so will you do the honor of going first?
Something I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the friends that I've come in, the acquaintances and friends that I've made over the past 10 years. It started off with a guy named Bart Baggett. That was 9.5 years ago. I bought a certificate and with the intent of getting certified, but I never actually applied the information. No, I never knew that I could apply yet. And actually change certain features of my psyche. And I made those changes, and I came out a very happy and strong-willed and very, determined individual. But success-bound, but mainly happy. It's mainly a matter of happiness. And so that is probably, I'd have to say that's definitely my biggest thing for being thankful for.
Okay. Roy, how about you?
Yeah, well, kind of like Charles, I'm thankful because a lot of my friends, I've got a close group of really what I call friends, and a lot of them are my childhood friends that I've grown up with, that I'm still friends with. That, my best friend in the group had passed away a few years ago, but all my other friends are still around. We still keep in contact, and it's been over 50 years for a lot of them. So I'm grateful we're still in touch.
Good. Well, Lorianne, how about you?
Sorry, I mute myself. I'm grateful for so many things. I spoke to my mother today. My mother and father are still alive, even if my father had 3 strokes. I'm so grateful for that. A little sad about the COVID because we have to stay away from them because of their age. Grateful for my friends here. Grateful for the friends that I have online because that's been really big for me through this COVID. I've had a lot of times I've had a couple of downs, but I know that I can reach out to somebody. And, you know, with this, if we didn't have this technology, I wouldn't be able to do that as easily. And I'm also grateful, one last thing, for actually being able to ask my neighbor for forgiveness for something that he understood, but I miscommunicated, and he hated me for the last 2 years. And I finally bumped into him and I said, you know what? I didn't mean anything by that, because communication is huge and people will take some words and they don't really understand what you're saying, and they will put it into their own minds that, oh my gosh, that woman's a bitch, sorry, excuse that language, but it wasn't meant as that. It was meant as a joke that my son told, and it came off the crossway wrong with him. He said, it's in the past. And that was so relieving. And now, you know, I can't stand conflict. I do still have somebody, and Leslie, we talk about this like forgiveness and stuff. I still have one that I really have a hard time forgiving. I think I will continue to have it for the rest of my life, unfortunately. And, you know, a lot of my friends here know why. But that little tiny moment in my life, which happened yesterday, was a big thing I was hugely grateful for. So, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Leslie, how about you?
Yeah, I'm just grateful for God's grace every day. That's it.
Good. Short and to the point.
That's it.
Love it. Jenny, how about you? Would you like to share something?
Well, I'm grateful for technology and the internet and the ability to connect, especially in these, you know, difficult times that we're going through. So this has been massive for me, and I'm really grateful for that.
Good. I'm working with a coach right now, and she has me doing my story so that I can figure out exactly who I am, what I'm about, who my audience is. And so I've spent many hours working on that. And I'm grateful for all of the insight that I have gotten from doing that and seeing just how much, and whether you call it God or a source or the universe or whatever, seeing just how much influence, in my case, God has had in my life, even though I wasn't always cognizant of him being there. So it's been nice to look back and see how much of a hand he's had in everything that has happened to me or for me or is going to happen. So I'm grateful for that.
Mm-hmm. Those are the best kind.
I know, they really are. So blessed in so many ways.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, I will share my screen and we will go ahead and get started with tonight's presentation. So, all right. So transform yourself to be your best you. This is our 3rd week. So for those of you that are just joining us for the very first time on a replay or even online with this one, we do have 2 other weeks that we've already done so far. Our first week, we did an overview of the whole series. And then last week, we did journaling and meditation. So now this week, we're going to do this. Can you guys see my screen?
I can see you.
Okay.
Are you sharing? Are you screen sharing, or we can just see your face and your
Oh,
background?
you're just seeing my face? All right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what is wrong? Why don't I have the pictures of you guys on the side? So it's like something's not right. Okay.
Oh, you know what? take the little is it like full screen?
There. Now you
There we
can
go.
see it,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Yeah, all good.
I'm glad
Okay.
you're familiar with that. I really wish I was, but I can't. The screen sharing and the little programs there, I don't know all those.
Well, I am far from tech savvy, so do not come to me if you need help. So, okay, so tonight's subject is high performance habits. And I have taken a lot of stuff from tonight out of the book High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard. And this has kind of become, I don't know if you guys can see it, probably not. They're High Performance Habits. I highly recommend this book. It's kind of become a Bible for me, so to speak, in terms of habits. And I just think that he does a great job of making things understandable and making you want to do them. And he puts it into easy terms that you want to keep reading. He's engaging and you want to keep reading, and then you want to do what he tells you to do and how he wants you to do it. So the first thing I want to talk about is habits. We all have habits that we think that we should do. And there's a lot of people out there that will tell you, well, you need to work hard. You need to focus on your strengths. You need to practice. You need to stick to it. You got to be grateful. You got to be passionate. Well, yeah, those are good, but they're not working. Because if they were working, then everybody would be successful. And there's so many people out there that are still not where they want to be. And so while they may be helpful, they're not really the best habits that you should be focusing on right now. And why don't they work? Well, there's 4 reasons they don't work. Not all habits are created equal. Some habits matter more than others, and some habits are better than others. Oftentimes, achievement isn't the problem, alignment is. So you have to realign your thoughts and your behaviors so you can experience growth and fulfillment as you strive to achieve them. The 3rd reason is too many people want certainty, and certainty is the death of improvement. It's the killer of growth. It's the killer of high performance. It binds you, it sets limits, it creates automatic habits that become predictable, bad thinking. And then there's the group of people out there who think, oh, well, technology solves all. It isn't, it doesn't. Tools and systems and processes are great, but they can't replace wisdom. Technology isn't the answer. So what is the answer? Well, let's find out. What is high performance? Succeeding beyond standard norms consistently over time. But it isn't just mere improvement. It requires that habits that protect your well-being, maintain positive relationships, and ensure that you serve others as you climb the ladder. It's basically just overall a healthy approach to living. And it's amazing how many people do not have a healthy approach to living. Maybe they have the productivity down, but they don't have a lot of energy. Or maybe they have influence, but they just don't have the rest of it. So it kind of all works together. And too many people don't realize that. And they think, well, if I work harder, I'll be okay. If I meet more people, I'll be okay. It's really a congruent and cohesive mix of all of the habits together that make you successful over time. Okay. So how do we know that someone is a high performer? They're more successful than their peers, but they're less stressed. They love challenges and are more confident that they will achieve their goals despite adversity. They are healthier than their peers, physically, mentally, emotionally. They're happy. They are admired. They get better grades and reach higher positions of success. They work passionately regardless of traditional awards. So their desires are intrinsic and not extrinsic. So it comes from within more than it comes from expecting someone else to give you gratification. They are assertive for the right reasons. They champion others and others' ideas more often than their own. They see and serve beyond their strengths, and they're always growing to be better at serving and leading. They are uniquely productive. They've mastered prolific quality output, and they are adaptive servant leaders. So there are dozens of factors or habits that affect long-term success. Luck, timing, social support, sudden creative breakthroughs, things like that. But through 20 years of research and practice of them, he has come up with 6 factors or habits that are under your control and that improve your performance more than anything else. So 3 of those factors are personal. So they really come more, they're something that you have to do on your own from within. And 3 of them are social, which takes other interactions with other people and things in order for you to be successful and perform highly in those areas. So the 3 personal factors are to seek clarity, generate energy, and raise necessity. The 3 social factors are increase productivity, develop influence, and demonstrate courage. So these 6 habits make all other good habits fall into place. So, and not only that, but if you improve one of these 6 habits, chances are you will automatically improve the other ones. And these 6 habits tend to indicate your overall happiness level. So we'll first go ahead and we'll talk about the personal high performance habits. First of which is seek clarity. So clarity comes from careful thought and mindful experimentation. So you gain clarity by continually asking yourself questions, researching, trying new things, sorting through life's opportunities, and figuring out what's right for you. All of this helps you further refine your perspectives on life. So when you have clarity, you can answer the questions, who am I? What do I value, and what are my strengths and weaknesses?
Can I just say something?
Sure, go ahead.
And for me, it's really important that we understand that this is a work in progress, because a lot of people think, oh, now I need to figure it out. Now I need to figure out my purpose. What am I here to do? What are my goals? Who I am? But it doesn't sort of come with trying to force it. It's more like surrendering to the process. And this is where journaling comes in as well, where you just sort of keep going, keep exploring about yourself, keep exploring about what you want, what you don't want. And yeah, so this was a big thing for me to actually, you know, needing to surrender in order to find answers.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we'll talk about that a little bit too as we go on in terms of, you know, the best way to kind of really figure out what's working, what's not working. So who am I is basically, where are you at with your self-esteem? And so when you're seeking clarity and working on that and asking yourself all the questions and doing all those different things I already mentioned, that's when you can develop your self-esteem and really figure out who you are and where you fit in the world and be comfortable in your own skin. The second question is, what are my goals? So you need to make sure that you have clear and concise and challenging goals, because if your goals aren't challenging and clear, it's going to kind of be a jumble, and you're going to always wonder, what am I doing? Where am I going? So, and kind of to go along with that, what's my plan? And you need to make sure that your plan includes deadlines to meet your goals. So, okay. So the next personal performance, high performance habit is to generate energy. So high performers have all three forms of energy. And those three forms of energy are personal and enduring mental energy or passion, physical energy, which means stamina, and emotional energy or vibrancy, which means motivation. And we'll go a little bit further into depth. So common sense says that low energy inhibits your ability to perform, but it pervades all aspects of your life. So it lowers your overall happiness. Lower energy lowers enthusiasm for taking on new challenges. It lowers your perception of personal success compared to your peers' success and makes you actually think about your peers and compare yourself, even though you shouldn't. It lowers your confidence in the face of adversity. As soon as something bad happens, you want to just give up and quit or move on to something else. It lowers the degree of influence you have with others. So when you have low energy, when someone has low energy, the last thing you want is to probably spend a lot of time with them, correct? You want to be around people who are positive and people who are upbeat, because negativity begets negativity, as we know. So positivity can rub off on people and influence them, but negativity just, it's hard to break away from negativity. Low energy also lowers the likelihood of eating well and exercising. That said, the flip side's also true. Increasing your energy will improve all these factors. So the higher the level of energy a person has, the more likely they are to pursue higher education, to be more creative, and assert themselves and take action.
Yeah, just want to say something about that. It's really like we all need breaks. It's like even if you have a high energy level, you're going to need a break. But sometimes it's really just creating that awareness of, am I just making excuses and telling myself that I'm tired? Or am I really tired and I need a break? It's just really creating that awareness of going forward and saying, am I really tired, or is this actually because I don't want to do certain things? I don't want to reach out to that people. I don't want to have that conversation right now. And yeah.
So like me yesterday when I was brain dead, or Monday when I was brain dead from working on my story all day, and it was like, we need to finish up our presentation, and I was just, I can't do it right now. I just need a break.
Yeah,
it wasn't that I didn't want to do it, or I was putting it off. It was just, I was so focused for so long that I was just like, I know I can't do it justice. So, no matter how much energy you need, we all do need to take a break now and then.
Yeah.
So, but if you're one of those people who struggles with maintaining energy or having high energy, you can increase your energy first by committing to do so, and then by taking moments during the day to release the tension in your mind or body. So, maybe you do some deep breathing exercises, breath work, maybe you do a little meditation, or some yoga if that's your thing. Anything just to kind of clear your mind and push the reset button. And oftentimes that will also give you a burst of energy. Then you choose to bring joy to your everyday life experience. Rather than choosing to be negative, you're choosing joy. And if you're changing your mindset, flipping your paradigm, you're going to be able to increase your energy and have the motivation to do what you want to do. And then Brendan says, You need to decide to get into the best physical shape of your life over the next 12 months. Well, at least he's giving us 12 months to do it, you know? So whatever that is for you, the best physical shape, maybe you just start doing something. And the more you do, the more you'll want to do. And before you know it, you'll be in the best shape of your life. So, okay. So the third and last personal high performance habit is raising your necessity. So necessity is the emotional drive that makes great performance a must instead of a preference. It creates a sense of urgency and demands actions. And there are 4 forces of necessity, 2 of which are internal and 2 of which are external. The internal ones are identity, which is basically your personal standards of excellence. Easy for me to say. Personal standards of excellence and obsession with a topic or process. And external is duty or your obligation or purpose, and urgency is real deadlines. So high performers are very focused on excellence. If you think about all the successful people out there, you know, everybody has all these great things that they do. And it's all because internally they want to be excellent. They want to be the best that they can be. And also they're obsessed with whatever they do. You look at the people that niche down, like Tony Robbins, for example, you know, he's probably one of the best people out there, at least the most well-known for NLP stuff. And then, you know, we could arguably say that Bart Baggett, you know, is the best at what he does with handwriting. Gary Vee, you know, the best ever in terms of line and marketing and coming up with the trends that we see in social media and things like that. Grant Cardone, selling. He's an expert at selling. So just those kinds of things that make you think about what people stand for in terms of their standards of excellence and how they're obsessed and working on topics and processes all the time. Sure.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
I don't believe obsession is a really positive term in my own opinion. I think passionate would be a better way to put it, because obsession tends to be, and I understand obsession. I'm passionate about handwriting. I'm passionate about what I do, but I'm not obsessed with it, because obsession can take away from a lot of other parts of your life if you're obsessed with it.
And I think in terms of this, he means that your passion for a topic or a subject, if you want to be a subject matter expert, you have to be passionate about what it is that you're wanting to be that expert of. And then it's like being a professional pianist or a professional opera singer. You know, you're constantly learning, constantly growing, constantly taking action. And I think that's when, you know, when you read it in the book, that's kind of where he's coming from. And I think the only reason he doesn't call it passion is because he used that earlier.
I think he calls it like this because Tony Robbins talks about it. He says, if you really want to be successful, you have to become obsessed with it. He talks about 3 kinds of people. And he says, like, the second one is sort of passionate about it, but the third one is obsessed with it. They do, no matter what it takes, they do everything in their, you know, possible to get there. This is why he calls it being obsessed with it. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just a personal, you know, sort of subjective, if you like it or not. Like, I don't mind it. Like, for me, it doesn't really have any negative attachment.
Right. But I think if you look at the people who are really successful in every area, they seem to be able to go about their lives. You know, they seem well adjusted and happy. Of course, you know, maybe not. We only see parts of lives, but so I think that's the key, is whatever you want to be successful at, you kind of need to be obsessed with, passionate about, and do whatever needs to be done to get there, but not at the expense of your personal life or your family or your relationships. You know, you need to find a happy medium. And he actually does talk about the fact that if you have all 6 of these factors, habits in alignment, you are going to be happy. You are going to have work-life balance. You are going to feel fulfilled. Wow, easy for me to say. Words are hard tonight. Sorry. So, and then the external, the duty, obligation, or purpose. So high performers feel they owe something or are accountable to others for their performance. And urgency, high performers regularly march to deadlines they feel are important to meet. So when internal and external forces are strong enough, or are necessities, we make things happen. Whatever needs to be done, we get it done. So now we'll move on to the social high performance habits. The first one is increased productivity. So there's 3 fundamentals of becoming more productive. They are setting goals, maintaining energy, and maintaining focus. So when you have clear and challenging goals, you tend to be more focused, which leads to a greater sense of flow and enjoyment in what you're doing. Greater enjoyment gives you the intrinsic motivation that has been correlated with higher productivity in both quality and quantity of output. And so all this stuff is true for both individuals and teams. So these 3 kind of things go together. You know, your goals need to be concise, measurable. When you're excited about your goals, your energy is going to go up. And when you have higher energy and excitement about your goals, then you're going to be able to maintain your focus on those goals, and thereby you're going to increase your productivity. The 5th social high performance goal habit, or the 2nd social high performance habit, is develop influence. So influence is the ability to shape others' beliefs and behaviors as you desire. Not in terms of being like a dictator, or super charismatic, but just to be able to work well with others and develop relationships and partnerships. So high performers increase or develop influence by continually asking for help, input, or what others want. They have a giving mindset, and they are a champion of people. So something low performers fail to ask. If you notice that, a lot of people think, well, I can't ask. I'm not going to ask. I need to just do it myself. Well, really successful people ask for help. They ask for input. They encourage creativity. But low performers let fear and judgment stand in their way, and they underestimate people. And that stops them from moving forward and being motivated.
Hey,
So
Wendy.
research,
Oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I didn't mean to break.
It's okay.
I was waiting for a spot in there where I thought you had a break. And
Okay.
on having a giving mindset, can you think of an example of that? I mean, like an application of it.
Well, for example, this is just what's coming to the top of my mind right now. Are you familiar with Manny Lopez?
Manuel Lopez.
Uh-huh.
I haven't heard of him.
Okay. Okay. Well, Manny Lopez he is a foster child, a former foster child, and he did not have a good childhood, and he went from foster home to foster home to foster home. And when he was finally able to, be on his own, he didn't know what to do, where to go, how to do it. And he managed to figure it out, thankfully. And so Manny's thing now is he has what's called Orphan to CEO. So he set up this program for people for kids that are in foster care, because the research shows that 2 out of 3 foster care kids are either going to end up dead, homeless, or in prison. And so he set up this program because they come out of the program with nothing, out of foster care. They have nothing but a trash bag full of clothes, and mostly they don't fit. So he set this program up so that he could teach kids how to build a business and how to be successful. And he's got other people like Les Brown, Benny Dorman, I can't think of all the people, Sharon Lecter, all these people who are big in different areas of business, and they all come together and they provide resources and mentoring and so on to help these kids become successful, because they don't have $20,000 to pay for a mentor or a coaching program or whatever. So that's what, having a giving mindset, you're serving, and through them serving all of these orphans or foster kids or whatever, they're being servant leaders. And because they're being servant leaders, he lifts them up and he showcases them, and he does anything and everything he can to help the people that are helping these kids get ahead. So he has a giving mindset. It's not all about just how much money can I make doing what I want to do, to help people. It's, I'm going to help these people that are helping these kids be successful. So that's kind of what he means by that. And his whole organization has exploded as a result of this. And he has another program called Network of Influence. And that's where all these people come together and they network with each other, and then they give all of these, wonderful prizes to the people that come to the events. And then he hooks them up with all of these, orphans, and it just keeps going and going, giving and giving. So, and is it Zig Ziglar or is it Jim Rohn? I can't remember which one that says, if you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want.
Yeah, Zig Ziglar.
Zig Ziglar. I always mix them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also, sorry.
Go for it. Sorry.
It also comes down to really, if you want to receive, you need to give as well. Like, if you give, you need to give in order to receive. So it's like a sort of universal law where you put value out, you help people, and you give value, and then you will be able to receive as well. So it's sort of that, circle.
Mm-hmm.
So it will come back to you. That's what a lot of people believe in, that, when they help a lot of people, they're going to be, receive as well.
Well,
Yeah. Sorry, go for it.
No. I was just going to say the imagery that I always have in my, is just in my prayer position. I mean, my prayer position, my hands are open, and it's to receive and I'm not holding on to anything. So I'm not trying to hold on to just my people or my clientele or my information that I want to just keep it all to myself and not share. I keep it open. And then of course it allows me then to receive as well.
Yeah, we talked about that with money, didn't we,
Yeah,
Wendy?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's money, it's the same. If you just keep all the money for yourself and you don't spend it, it sort of gets stagnant. It can't, come back to you. There's no circulation. It just gets stagnant. And when you spend money, you can also receive money. So it's sort of that, that circle going on.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
Charles, did you have something else you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was in total total agreement and now understanding on that, the giving mindset. A lot of the world's most successful, CEOs, you name it, develop their businesses and their ideas based on how can I help people. And they made that their passion, and the money just followed. The money just naturally comes. Now, I've read some books. There's a T. Harv Eker book that says, you know, if you want to get rich, you have to make it your determination. And it's not necessarily the case. Money will follow certain things if you can have a very positive influence on society, on people, on individuals. The money will come. It's but basing our choices and our our careers, however it is that we can help society and help to improve things, those are the things, I mean, that are going to come back and help us later. However it is that our gifts and our talents may be, you know, we don't necessarily have the same, we don't have all the same talents. We just simply, that's what makes us all different, but we all contribute in different ways. And because of that, we have that giving mindset. It'll come back.
Right. I agree with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so just to finish up with one more point on asking for help, input, research actually shows that when people do help you, they tend to like you more after the fact. And when they're part of the creation of something or the solution of a problem, they have skin in the game, and so they are motivated to continue working with you, continue helping you, continue to give you input, and so on. And
Yeah. I want to add something, like, you know, because a lot of people say they don't like receiving presents from others because they don't feel like it's necessary, or they shouldn't have put themselves through it, or they shouldn't have spent so much money for me. But I just see it from the flip side now, whereas I see myself when I buy a present for someone and I see that joy and I see that people really, that person is really excited about that present, that gives me joy. And I see it like, when I feel excited about that present and thank that person and not say, oh, that wasn't necessary or something, I give that person the joy that I will have when I give someone a present. Because a lot of people are like, you know, I don't like getting presents, but now I'm just like, you know, I'm happy to receive it. I'm excited about it. Because I know what kind of feeling the other person will have when I'm excited about it.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And so then that, you know, helps you develop influence with people, increases influence, increases the reciprocity. You know, you do something nice for them without any expectation of anything in return, and then they're going to want to do something nice for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that is especially true. You will especially find success if you do something without expecting something in return, and if you do something before you ask them for something. So giving before asking. And then being a champion of the people. High performers give more trust. They give more freedom or autonomy. They show gratitude, and they show appreciation publicly, not just in person. So those are all things that help you develop influence with that particular person, but also with people around you, because they see how you're treating the people that you work with or that work for you, and they want to also be involved with you because they like what you're doing and how you're doing it. And last but not least, the last social high performance habit is demonstrate courage. Courage is taking a determined action to serve an authentic, noble, or life-enhancing goal in the face of risk, fear, and adversity or opposition. So high performers are courageous. And those who have high or strong courage usually have high levels of the other 5 performance habits as well. There are different kinds of courage. What matters, though, is what courage is to you, how you define it, and that you start living your life that way. So courage is not necessarily fearlessness, but rather taking action and persisting despite your fear. However, once you tackle the things that you fear and you develop the courage, it can lead to fearlessness. It can make you fearless in trying other things that you didn't think you could do or didn't necessarily want to do because you weren't sure of the outcome. So the more we do something successfully, the more comfortable we become doing it. And then it becomes a habit and it becomes easier. And there's no more fear associated with it. So,
May I
Sure.
interject with that too? The more fearless you are, and even if you fail, and understand that failing is not failing as long as you've taken those steps. I know this because being a female who went out, bought an auto repair shop, 3 years later, I failed. Some people would say, but I took that step towards it and I've learned from it. So I don't know that failure is like, it's not always success that's going to move you to the next step. Sometimes failure will move you even further to want to succeed, and learning from what, I won't call it failure, but why that didn't work out. And if you learn from that, and I know that, Anik Singhal talks about that, is that you have to recognize where your downfalls were. Because if you don't take, responsibility for some of the failure, then you're never going to learn to move to the next step. Sorry
Right.
for interjecting, but I just don't think that we always succeed. Sometimes we have to fall down before we come back up again and learn a little bit more to move forward towards that success, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. You're taking action to serve what you think will be a life-enhancing goal. And there may be risk, there may be fear, there may be adversity, or there may not be. You don't know until you do. So you're exactly right, Orianne. And I don't know who says it, but fail forward. As long as you're learning from it and moving forward, so you failed. Thomas Edison, took him 10,000 ways to not make a light bulb before he finally made the light bulb. So he failed 10,000 times. He said, I just learned 10,000 ways that it didn't work. So, all right. So regarding high performance habits, you're sitting here thinking, is most of this common sense? It is, but we don't necessarily realize it. And sometimes we need someone to tell us that. And then we need to keep on top of it to make sure that we are making progress, that we are focusing on these habits, and that, we are following our goals. We're, working towards our goals and developing the influence and increasing our productivity. And so the best way to do that is to journal about them regularly to track your progress or even your lack of it. You can have all this stuff swirling around in your mind all the time, but if you don't put it down on paper somehow, whether you write it or type it, you're never going to really realize what you did and what you didn't do. It's just kind of like my story I was talking about. It's like, wow, I got a lot of insight. Yeah, it's all there. It's in the back of my mind, it's in my memories and whatever, but until I saw it in front of me, I didn't really realize just how impactful it was. And I knew some of it was more impactful than other, as I'm thinking about it, but putting it down on paper made me realize, even the stuff I didn't think was quite as impactful really ended up being quite impactful. So, all right. So, Jenny, I'll let you talk about your morning routine.
Yeah, I just think it's really important to sort of, create good habits, especially when you start your day. So you can, set yourself up for a successful day and a happy day, and you get your things done that you need to get done. So one thing is in the morning, when you wake up, as soon as you open your eyes, get out of bed. Because sometimes we sort of, try to stay in bed for a while, and then that thought pattern, the thoughts are coming in the morning. And it's best to just get out of bed, just do it, just get up and start your day. And what I found really helpful is when you have a certain song that you get up to in the morning, a song that really, makes you move, makes you happy, makes you feel excited about your day. And of course, avoid TV and newspaper, radio, social media, email for at least 30 minutes. It's better to have it up to an hour, just to decrease, the influence through others, and really focus on yourself, on your inner world, and not being distracted by things outside of yourself that you might not be able to control. And and then set an intention, choose how you want to feel today, because that really gives you the power back, that you have a choice how you can feel today. And then focus on something that makes you happy and feel grateful. And then one good thing is also remind yourself of your big vision, your mission in life, what you want to do, and remind yourself that it's really worth it to put the effort in. Sometimes it's good if you put it on the wall, like your mission statement, just like one sentence, what your mission is, where you want to go, why you're doing it, and really focus on that and move forward on that mission. Just decide that you're going to take a few little steps today to move forward to reach that big vision. And this is a really good thing. So if you could just choose one thing out of this, I really recommend drinking the water first thing in the morning. As soon as you get up, drink your water, because your body is the most toxic when you wake up in the morning. You've got a lot of toxins because your body is really working overnight to detox, and now you need to flush it out. So drink 500 milliliter to 1 liter of water straight away in the morning. It might seem a lot, because I know a lot of people struggle with drinking water, but it's really good. It will really help you, get your head clear and detox your brain and your body.
I
was
going to add a little bit on to what you were talking about there. Research, which I don't know why it's been hidden, but I've shared this with some of my bosses and that from the department that I'm at. But it shows that 1% dehydration rate results in up to a 20% loss in your ability to concentrate. And I mean, it's shocking. I mean, a lot of people are 3 or 4% dehydrated and just don't realize that they're walking asleep. The water it's extremely important, and in the morning, that's when we are the most dehydrated. We have to hydrate up. So.
May I ask one more thing too? If you're going to be drinking water, please don't do bottled water. For my daughter's sake, don't use bottled water. Okay, we are trying to stop plastic from happening here. And there's like an ocean the size there's the size of Mexico in the Indian Oceans right now of plastic. So let's try and do our help. So I have to say that, I'm sorry on her behalf. Please don't use bottled water. There are filtered water opportunities here.
Yeah.
Sorry, my state.
That's okay. Reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis, what I use. So.
That's what I used to.
Yeah, it's a good system.
Yeah, awesome, cool. That's actually another recommendation that I don't really follow to the tick. It's like you shouldn't have any coffee for the first 2 hours in the morning.
I wonder who does follow that advice.
Yeah, it's just like it was explained to me like this, that you
Yeah.
actually rob the ability from your body to create energy in the morning, because you give it that stimulants and you train your body that you actually need it in the morning. And if
Yeah.
you don't do it straight away in the morning, you actually train your body to create more energy itself. And that will also help you throughout the day, that you feel more energized. But yeah, I just love my morning coffee. So I'll have the water, but the coffee thing, it doesn't sit
Yeah,
too
can
well
I
with
have
me.
both at the
Drink
same
decaf.
time?
I
Hey?
drink
Can I do both at the same time? Oh my goodness, there's no way I could go.
Yeah. Yeah, for a lot of people, I mean, caffeine is a natural. I
See,
drink
I
it,
Yeah.
so I
I
get
don't
mine.
drink coffee at all.
At
No.
all,
Oh,
Roy? Oh my
that's good.
goodness, that's good.
I
Well,
drink,
I drink it black. It's not like I put stuff in it, but yeah.
I drink it at night. I don't drink it in the morning. I drink it mostly, well, now and again in the morning, but mostly I drink it at night.
Well, no
That-
wonder you don't sleep.
That's even worse. Drink it in the morning, then it's better.
Okay, wanted to know about that. Is there a
Yeah.
problem?
Well, I mean, now there's for people, you know, it depends on how a person is hardwired. I know people who had kids who, I mean, the doctors would recommend Ritalin or whatever else for, you know, the hyperactive, whatever. Find out if they take caffeine at night shortly before they go to bed, that stimulant would actually calm them down.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
that's more common among extroverts. I also have a friend who he can drink coffee at 7 o'clock at night and go straight to bed, get up at, you know, 1:45 or 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, and the guy can literally sleep on a rock, I would imagine, but that's not for me exactly. But it depends somewhat on how a person is hardwired. But I mean, I would say his circumstance is quite rare, and it'd be best to know your own physiology. So, but yeah, what coffee at night will dehydrate. I mean, it's a dehydrator, and you're gonna naturally get rid of
Yeah.
it at night anyway. So it's not gonna help.
Yeah. And I actually know people who actually just drink coffee. They don't drink any water or stuff. And I'm like, this can't be healthy
No.
because it's actually dehydrating you, like you said. Yeah. Alrighty. So that's about water and coffee. And then just try to become present in the moment by just really focusing on the things that you are doing, you know, just really focus on the action to sort of, you know, come into that meditative state and become very present. And then eat a healthy breakfast filled with food that energizes your body. So we also call it live food, like, you know, fresh vegetables and fruit or smoothies, just anything that really energizes you. And then move your body to jumpstart your energy levels. So that can be any form, whatever you want, you know, if you do like push-ups or dancing or whatever, just move your body. It doesn't have to be long, you know, if it's a couple of minutes, that's better than nothing. So yeah, you just want to get ready and be prepared. And I find it just makes such a huge difference. If you really have a good morning, really take that, whatever, 20 minutes to prepare yourself, it makes a huge difference in your day. All right, that's it from me.
And that's pretty much everything for the presentation. Do you guys have any questions or comments you'd like to make about tonight?
This was fun.
Yeah, did you want to stop screen sharing, then we can all see each other, and if anyone has anything to say, that'd be cool.
I just want to show one last slide.
Okay, sorry.
So next week, we'll talk about subconsciousness, the subconscious and limiting beliefs. Jenny and I will be doing that. And then on the 27th, we're going to have special guests, Aaron and Veronica, and they are from Spirit Within. I believe, if I remember correctly, that is a podcast that they do. Roy or Lorianne or Jenny, if you guys have any more details on that.
I don't.
Yeah.
Is that
I
going to be
think
at
it's
the same
really,
time?
I think Robert has
Yeah.
that.
7 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Robert has that information. I've asked him for a little bit more information so we can actually give out to the group that. And then
Mhm.
we're going to give more information about your subconscious and limiting beliefs. They should be out by hopefully tomorrow. If we can get that information, that'd be awesome.
Yep. Yeah, all of our Wednesday webinars are always at 7 p.m. Eastern time, Charles.
Okay.
So,
All right, thanks, Wendy.
I'm really glad to have you here.
yeah.
I know that Doc is usually with us, but maybe tonight he's on a little bit of a lesser level of, I mean, I know he's up and down with his health, so, but he's usually here too. So we miss you, Doc, if you're watching this, because you're always here.
Yeah,
That's-
he had to
Robert, we
leave-
miss you too.
he had to leave us early last week, so I hope he's okay.
Well, he's been posting and he's been in touch with me, so he is, but he's up and down. So he'll be on for as long as he can, and then he just goes off a little bit. So I don't know, Leslie, I don't know if you know that Doc's been going through surgery and he's doing incredibly well though. Don't you agree? Like Charles, like seriously, and we know what he's gone through. He had diabetes, so he had a few operations. But Leslie, he comes on as much as he can because he really supports this group, which I really love that. Like,
Yeah.
so if he's watching this, Doc, we miss you too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you guys don't have anything more that you want to discuss regarding high performance habits or just feedback in general, we probably can just wrap it up.
I did have one question. When you're talking about waking up in the morning, one thing that I do for myself, because I live on my own and I don't have anybody to kick my butt and have a honeydew list, right, Roy? I actually do my own honeydew list. So I will actually mark 3 things that I would that I promise myself to get done in that day. And it really helps me because I make sure that I'm accountable to myself for making that happen. Just 3 things, not huge things, but at the end of the day, it makes me feel like, okay, I accomplished that. And if it's that small, at the end of the day, you feel like, yeah, I mean, if it's just like, you know, okay, I've got to do the cat litter, and I've got to do my laundry, the bed thing I always do. So these are things outside of that. By the end of the day, if I don't do it, it's not that I feel guilty. I feel like, okay, you know what? You promised yourself that. And a promise to myself, like I make promises to others. If I make that promise, I have to pull through. If you can pull through promises to yourself, then you know you're going to pull through to promises to everybody else. And I think that's really important. So I just do 3, and that makes a huge difference in my day, because I know that once the end of the 3 is done, whether I do it in the morning or whether I do it by 7 o'clock at night or before I go to bed at 2 in the morning, as long as it's done, then I feel good. I just think that that's something that really that helps people to baby step themselves to moving forward. And that's what I do. I baby step myself every day. Just 3. That's it.
And what if you add some accountability to yourself? Just say, if I don't do that, then this is going to happen, or I have to do this, or like, if I don't do that, I can't watch Netflix tonight, or something like that.
And you can do that. I just feel guilty, and I don't like feeling guilty because I grew up with the guilt factor. So as far as I'm concerned, no, get her done, baby.
Yeah.
Because I've made a promise to me. And that's the most important thing, because I am the most important person to me right now, because I have 4 cats, 2 dogs, a fish that rely on me. And I've also got people who expect me that if I'm going to make a promise to them, I have to be able to keep a promise to myself. I'm number 1 to make a promise to myself. If I can't keep a promise to me, then I can't keep a promise to anybody else, as far as I'm concerned. So I make sure I do it.
And if you finished your stuff at 8 o'clock in the morning, then you're done for the day.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I think Leslie was trying to say something. Were you? Sorry, Charles. I think
No,
Leslie.
go ahead, Charles.
Go for it, Leslie.
No, I wasn't saying anything. I was just going to point out that you wanted to say something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Depending on how this is, I'm going back to my psychological stuff, but depending on how we're hardwired, you know, some of us have the ability to devote ourselves to certain topics, and for those individuals, I mean, we can stick to 2 or 3 things and get it done immediately. Other individuals, for myself, for instance, what I do is I put a long list of things that need to be done. And now for some individuals, they'll take a look at my long list of things that need to be done, and it'll be demotivating for them. Oops, I have a knock on my door. Just a minute. I'll let you guys talk for a minute. I'll be right back.
I
Yes,
think you're totally right. I can't do a big list. If I do a big list, I don't do anything because I'm too freaked out.
me too. Roy,
I actually wanted to show you guys something. Roy, you want to say something?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So Roy, you
that's-
go ahead.
I'll have to leave.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Oh.
It's
Bye,
good.
Charles. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yes, definitely. All right.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, Charles.
I just wanted to show you this planner. This is actually the planner who goes
Yeah.
with the book.
I have that.
You have that one?
Yeah,
And
it's
that's really
overwhelming
good.
for me. I can't do it. It's overwhelming. I have my basic
really?
planner. It's like I said, I can only do 3 things at a time. And that thing
Yeah,
is
but
like-
this is what he actually says. What's your 3 goals? What's your 3 priorities?
but that's not the only thing in that planner. That planner has so many things in it. I'm going, whoa. So I just
Okay.
want my little one that's got my God little stories in it, and I'm really happy with it. And I put
Yeah,
3
that's good then.
favorites.
Yeah, for me, it's really good, actually. I really like it because it sort of asks you a few questions, like there's a morning one and there's an evening one. So for the morning one, for example, one thing I can get excited about today, if
Yeah,
one word could describe the kind of person I want to be today, then that word is, and someone who needs me on my A game today. And just like, yeah, just ask you some questions in the morning. And then also, you know, what's my top 3 goals, my priorities, and tasks that absolutely need to be done today.
Hi, Robert. It may be okay if you don't look at the whole thing and you only take portions of it, but the whole thing in itself is overwhelming. And I'm sorry, I do have it. So if I look at it now, Jenny, that you said that, I might look back at it and just
Yeah.
take portions of the book.
Just look at the morning
Like-
page. That's it.
Yeah, sorry, that's how I felt. So I just went back to my little basic thing. Roy, you were gonna say something. Roy. He's so shy. He doesn't like to, honest to goodness, if you see him put his hand up, can you
Okay.
say, Roy, would you just talk? Because he's like this. Love you, Roy. Go on.
So Doc, I'm always I'm a big list person. I get checking stuff off the list works for me. It's just how I've done it. So I used to always have one of these with me when I was at work, and I would just like, make notes, and I'd cross them off. Well, so I'd just go one through number them. And just, I'd go to the next page. So I was at a job site one time, and I flipped over. I just folded it back. So I was like a number 143 or something. The guy goes, "You got 143 things to do?" I said, "Well, I've done most of them. The pages are flipped over, but I like to work off a list. I'm more productive if I do. That's just what works for me."
I agree with the list, but I'm saying is that in any one day, I give myself a promise to do 3, even if my list is this big. If I get those 3 done, then I feel that, okay, that was what I promised myself. Anything more than that's a bonus. And you know how people feel about bonuses. You get more done, you feel like, woo! And that's a reward for doing more than just the 3 that you put there. But in any one day, at least I have just 3 to deal with. And then if I go beyond that, it's better. I'm like you, I have a list of things. As you know, we do agendas. The list is like this big. But even if we get this much done and the next one goes to the next, but we have to promise to do at least 3 things. To me, 3 things a day makes it easier for me. It doesn't make me feel overwhelmed and going, oh, I'm waking up this morning and I can't do anything because there's 20 things on my list. Because you don't know where to start.
But like at work for me, I would sit there and say, okay, I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the most important thing I do. One phone call changes that. Now 1 becomes 7 and 8 becomes. So I mean, mine was constantly evolving all day long, depending on the phone calls I got and the problems I had, to solve. And so mine was always daily,
And that makes
hourly,
sense.
sometimes
It's a job.
minutely changing.
Yeah. And that totally makes sense, Roy. And having the list makes sense. But I'm just talking about a day-to-day thing when you're at home, because we're COVID time right now. You want to just make sure that you get 3 things done, you get more done. That's great. But you're absolutely right. When I was working, it was the same thing. I had my Palm Pilot way back then, and I had a list full of stuff I had to get through, right? Was what it was. I do have to take a call. I do apologize. I will be back, but it's my cousin in Quebec, and I haven't talked to him in about 20 years. So I'm going to be right back, okay?
We're going to, Jenny, you're going to put the name of the book in the notes or in the,
The name, you mean this book
Yeah.
or the journal?
both.
Okay. Yeah. High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Rob.
Bye, we're leaving now.
Yeah, we're just about done, actually.
I know. I tried.
Hey, Rob.
Hi, everyone. We're basically replacing our entire life with insurance companies. So
And it's so much fun to deal with
Yeah.
insurance agents and
3
adjusters.
houses and 3 cars. So
Mhm.
a lot of craziness. Anyway,
All right,
All
guys,
right.
we'll see you next week.
bye.
Okay,
Talk
bye,
to you soon,
Leslie.
Leslie. Good
Bye.
call today, Leslie. All right,
Yes,
we'll talk later.
yes.
All right. Talk
Bye.
soon.
All right. Charles left,
Hi,
but I'm not
Charles.
sure
Is
why
he gone?
I think so. I'm not sure why he's still showing, but
Give him a
can't-
quick
I thought he
warning.
was going.
Charles,
Can
are
I-
you gone? Or if not, we'll kick you off the call just
Are you
for.
going to stop recording, maybe?